All right, I'm gonna show you guys how to throw some mugs on the potter's wheel. This is gonna be a big part of your project that you're working on for the next couple weeks. So you can either choose to throw the mugs or hand build them or do a little combination of both. But you're gonna be using the mugs as the form that you're gonna use all the surface techniques that you're gonna explore. So take a look at the windows. You can see over here behind me on the wheel are a bunch of the techniques, and also in Google Slideshow will be available in Google Classroom for this. So should be pretty familiar with setting up your wheel. If you need a little review, find the cheat sheets that are on the metal rack, and you can kind of do a little review from there. Okay, but you're going to be making a cylinder and then giving it a little shape for the mug. Okay, so you've all done this before on the wheel where you've made a cylinder. Start off with centering the clay. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple different mug shapes that you can kind of play around with. So you want to cone, flatten your clay first, make sure that it's nice and centered. Okay, once you have your clay nice and centered, remember you're going to use your 2 fingers to go in to find the center and drill down. You want to leave enough clay so that you can trim a foot on the bottom of each one. So as you're practicing, take that water out, take your needle tool and stick it down to the bottom. Slide your finger down to where it hits the clay, and you can see how much clay is left. So that's a good hefty 1/2 inch. We'll leave that for my nice foot on the bottom. Okay. Next step is to establish that flat floor that you want for your cups. Okay, so supporting with my left hand, look, my thumb's back with my hand. So I'm kind of supporting like this. And I'm gonna just kind of curve my finger back to make it nice and flat floor. Okay, now you can see this is curved in here. What I want to do is I just want to straighten the wall. So straighten up the wall. Okay, and then I've got my nice flat floor down there. Don't forget to compress. Take your sponge and press down. Okay, so this is the point where you start to make this shape, and like most things on the potter's wheel, you're going to start with that basic cylinder shape. Okay, so you're going to pull your walls, pinch and pull your walls, and bring up the clay just into that nice cylinder shape. Try to get it a nice even cylinder shape. Okay, so that's a good basic cylinder shape right there. Now at this point I can create the form or the shape that I want for my mugs. Now there's a couple different ways. There's a million different ways actually you can shape your mugs. You can leave them pretty cylinder-like, kind of boring though. If you were going to do that, I would probably bring it in a little bit. So I would take my hands and squeeze that shape in carefully. Okay. I like a coffee mug that's a little bit thicker, a little bit wider on the bottom, thinner on the top. So I'm going to add a little water, and I'm going to kind of push out, and then bring that clay back in. Okay, nice kind of a soft rounded shape. Remember that what you want to do in order to finish off your cup once you've kind of gotten the shape you want is you want to give a little bit of a rounded lip so that the liquid goes nicely into your mouth. Okay, and then I would recommend saving yourself a little time and just cut off a little bit of this bottom clay. Saves you a little trimming time. So I kind of cut down at an angle with your knife, undercut it, slice and dice, unwrap. Okay. So that is one potential shape of a mug. And obviously you're going to want to trim it. You're going to want to pull or extrude a handle and attach that as well. All right, so don't forget to undercut. And I'm going to pop this guy off, and I'm just going to show you another design, more of like a cappuccino style cup. So I'll put that one off to the side. So when you sit down and throw, you should be able to throw a couple of cups, you know, in your class period. So have a couple of extra bats on and a couple balls already wedged out and ready. Okay, so again, we're centering, coning, we're flattening. Now a cappuccino cup, if you they're kind of a little bit more like a bowl, right? You still want to have a flat floor so that you can get a nice foot that's not too thick. But you're going to give it a little bit more of that bowl shape once you get that floor established. Okay. All right, so got my centered clay, feeling pretty good. And the next step I'm going to do is, again, open, drill down. Okay, you want to stop kind of close to the bottom. I can take my needle, stick it in. Looks like a hefty 1/2 inch. I can go down a little bit more on that one. Okay, so test early, that helps. Okay, next, same thing, establish that flat floor. So right at the base, curve your finger back, okay? And you can see kind of how it curves in right here. So that's that part that you're gonna pull back with, you're gonna kind of straighten your fingers out and bring that open, okay? Again, use your sponge and compress. If you don't compress your floor, you end up potentially having cracks, okay? You don't want to have water stuck in the bottom of that clay. All right, now, kind of the similar idea, we're going to start off with more of the cylinder shape. So I'm going to pinch and pull my walls, okay? I want to try to keep it in. Don't let it go out too far, so cup, bring it back in. And go up a little bit more, and then I'm gonna give it some shape. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna bring it in just a little bit more, especially at the top here. Okay, all right. Now, to make it that cappuccino, that kind of wide bowl-like shape, is gonna be kind of done with while you're pulling. So you're gonna kind of pinch, and you're just gonna slightly bring that open. More, so you have that kind of bowl shape. Okay, now that's a quite large cappuccino cup. So in order to make it look less like a bowl and more like a cappuccino cup, I'm going to cut down the lip. So I'm going to bring this back in a little bit, and I'm going to cut it down to maybe about here. So I'm going to run my needle tool through, pull off that little extra clay there, and then I can go back in and kind of refine my lip. It's really important on cups that you refine your lip. Give yourself a little bit of an angle from the inside. Okay. And then you can kind of perfect the shape. It feels like a pretty good cappuccino cup. Remember, make your cups a little bit bigger than you think they should be, because they're gonna shrink. And they shrink quite a lot, like 17% in the high fire kilns. So make sure that, you know, this seems like a really large cappuccino cup, but by the time it's fired, it's going to become the right size cappuccino cup. Okay? Again, you can kind of take your knife, cut down at an angle, save yourself a little trimming time. So save some of that clay. Not a lot, but we'll get a little bit off. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and run our wire under here. Okay. All right, sweet. So that's kind of the overview on the first stages of the cut of the mug project. You're making a couple different mug shapes. Cappuccino mug shape, typical coffee mug shape. Okay, so at leather hard, I'm going to turn them over, trim them, and I'm going to add the handle to them. After you add the handle to them, that's when you can start to do the surface designs on these. Okay, so check out the handle demos. I'm going to show you how to pull a handle, and I'm going to show you how to extrude a handle and then how to attach them. Okay.